Really happy to see you all. Thanks for joining, and thanks for being curious, wanting to listen and to talk with others about uncertainty. Thanks for being here. Just a very short introduction. Um, we are four different Christian student associations from Maastricht who are organizing this evening, and actually, we were just wondering how to be here for people during this time, and we came up with this idea. So we'll see how it goes. Um, so just the different ministries involved. There's the Maastricht Catholic, no, Master Student Catholic Chaplaincy. Sorry, guys. Lux and Mozam, 1830s as part of Redeemer's Church, and Drum as part of Damascus Road International Church, and with the in between, which is the university's chaplaincy. And super quick about our speaker, Frederick. He studied archaeology and theology, and exactly a month ago he moved from Amersfoort to Maastricht to work here with international students.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you also for the live music. I'm Frederick. It's really strange to talk to a screen instead of real public. But I'm really glad that you are here, that you made it. And tonight I want to talk with you about the question of facing uncertainty. At this moment, I think we all face uncertainty. At least I do. Around a year ago, me and my wife wanted to move to a new place, to a new adventure. So we're thinking about going to Maastricht. And so we made plans. On some moment we found a house even. And we were really looking forward to go to a new place, to meet up with people. So on the 9th of February, we moved to Maastricht. But at that moment, it was just a week before the intelligence lockdown. So I had a lot of plans what I wanted to do here in Maastricht, to work with international students, to meet up with them, to build a network, meeting with the neighbors, and so on. But suddenly I had to realize that I had to put all my plans on hold. I was not capable of doing the things I wanted to do. And for me, as a really social guy, I'm more a sociaholic, you can say. I love to meet up with people. It's really difficult to be at home, just sitting with not meeting up with other people. So the first week I really had difficulties with coping with the situation. I wanted to meet up with people, but it was not possible. I was sitting at home. It was feeling like I can just do everything also the next day or the week after. There was no hurry anymore for the things I was doing. There's only one thing that I had to hurry with. My wife was already saying to me for a few months, you really need to get a haircut because it's far too long. So just in time, one day before the government decided we're not allowed to go to the barber anymore, I received this haircut. So at least when I'm sitting at home alone, I got a good haircut. That's, I think, the only thing that went well when we moved here. But I think it can be a difficult time for a lot of people to cope with. So I want to today reflect with you, and I also want to invite you to chit-chat about this also during this evening. To talk further about this question, how to face uncertainty. This week I received also a message from an international student. And he said, I'm experiencing one of the most difficult periods in my life. Besides the isolation, I'm terrible afraid for my health. So it's a time where people are getting afraid for what's happening. What will happen in my life? What will happen in the life of my friends, my family? Certainly, if you're far away, living in another country, it can be really difficult to be on that place. And I think on a moment like this, when things are getting uncertain, we're looking for some kind of brands. Maybe you can just imagine we're just in a river floating around, and we're looking for a branch to grasp, something we can hold on, some place where we can find some hope, some stability. And I don't know how it's for you. Maybe you're already coping with the situation. Maybe you're really relaxed. A lot of friends of mine think it's nice to be at home the whole time. Other people are really thinking, I don't want to get it out. I want to do other things. So maybe you already managed to find a rhythm in your life, but maybe you're still struggling with this. So I hope later on to have a good discussion also about how people are dealing with this situation. Today I want to talk with you about two topics. And the first one is about where do we search for certainties? Where can we find them? And last week I've been talking with some international students online, and different responses popped up on this. Some people say, yeah, I'm mostly afraid for being bored. At some moment I've seen all the Netflix series, all the videos, what can I do now? But a lot of other people say, I'm just afraid for my studies. Can I finish my studies in time? Can I do my internship? What will happen? What's with all the things around me? Do I have the perseverance to continue my study, to work from home or not? What will happen when I lose my job, when I cannot earn money anymore, but I have to pay my rent? What will happen then? Or what will happen when I get the virus, or some relative of mine will receive the virus? What will happen then? And I think of all those moments we're facing with uncertainty. We're searching for what can give us hope at this moment. Where can we find some strength? Where can we find some things that are possible? And I think there are different ways we can look at it. I think we're all searching for some places where we can find some hope, some of the brands in the river. Maybe one of the examples could be that we're looking to the government. What is the government doing for us? But what if you live in Brazil and your president is João Bolsonaro, and you got a president who's saying, yeah, the coronavirus is not that big. He's just minimizing the whole event until recently. He's not taking, he's really taking responsibility for it. He even made 2 videos against all the restrictions other governments were doing. But Facebook banned those videos because it was full of misinformation. But also if you look to the Dutch government, you see, yeah, they're doing their best to help us to think along, to help the whole country. But also you see fear. When you see them on the video, you see they also don't know exactly how can we ban the whole sickness. How can we just save the country in some way? I think we're all looking for some saving, something that can get us out of this. And also if you hear Mark Rutte saying that probably more than half of the country will get corona, it doesn't really comfort us. It even can make us scared. What will this mean for me? If probably I will get it in the coming months. And for how long will this all take? Will it take months, weeks, years, whatever? I think a lot of governments are doing a really good job with helping us and trying to make the best of it as possible. But I also get a feeling like there's no constantly hope I can find in the government. But maybe another place where you can search for hope could be technology. Maybe if you just invent a little bit more, that can help us further. Matthew Bellamy, the singer of Muse, said in an interview a while ago, when damage to nature is reduced, technology can be a powerful force for life on this planet. It could save humanity. It could enable us to safely live in the most extreme natural conditions. Matthew is saying that if we just use technology, we can be saved. We can even beat a lot of natural disasters. This interview was done before Corona, but he's referring to there is still a lot of natural disasters happening in this world at this moment. But with technology, we can go further. Technology can save us in the end if we use it in the right way. And I think part of it is true. A lot of hospitals are using a lot of technology to help people, to use ventilators to let people breathe on the intensive care. That's really great. But I think also in the same moment, we see the coronavirus spread that fast because of also technology. Because we're just traveling around in the world that easily with planes. So I think, yeah, partly it can help us, technology. But I don't give, I think, the complete hope. I don't think it's the brands we all can grab. I think it can help us a bit. It's not a brand that gives us hope, also in the most difficult times. And third way we can look at it is maybe the most disturbing of all of them. Is looking at ourselves. I think often, certainly as young people, we can have the feeling like we are in control. We can do everything we want. Certainly when I was a student, I just a feeling I can just do what I want. I got a lot of possibilities. I could study everywhere, in every city. I could do different studies. I could go to different countries. Nothing could stop me in some way. And I think we all easily take this privilege of studying for granted. But on the moment of Corona crisis, we are confronted with just sitting still. And I think a lot of us find it really difficult just to sit still and think about life, think about what's happening. At least for myself, I find it really hard to just sit still and just reflect on life. It's easy just to run all the time, to do stuff. And a while ago, I saw a documentary. It's called Alles wat we wilden, All We Ever Wanted. Maybe you've seen it. It's a really interesting one, and I really can recommend it to look at it. This is how it looks like, the front cover. But it's about young, ambitious Dutch people from my age, people just finished the studies a few years ago, and they're doing really great stuff. But in the documentary, they are interviewed, and they are saying that all that the time when I was growing up, they learned from their teachers, from their parents, you can become whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. There's a lot of possibilities, and you can just do that. If you want to, if you go for it. And these young people, these young ambitious people, were capable of doing a lot of those things. But on some moments, on most of the moments, when they have the feeling like I'm almost reached that goal, they got a feeling like I didn't make it. It's not good enough. They're never satisfied. I think that can be a big problem, but we are just got the feeling like I always need to do more. If we are capable of just making our own life, and we have to do everything on our own, then we'll have a difficulty. Paul Verhagen, a professor in Belgium in psychology, wrote a book, and in this book he said, the new image of man is one of perfection. I will never be good enough. It's exhausting. You can't outrun your own shadow. And I think it's a really interesting vision on how we look at this moment at our lives. Are we aiming for the perfection all the time? And certainly in a moment of Corona, how do we face that we're not perfect, that we're not capable of just making our own life? Just a small bet in China can just ruin all our plans at this moment. We try to make the best out of it. But on moments like this, we see we're vulnerable. We're fragile as human beings. And I think if we're looking for the brands to hold on in this moment, in ourselves, we find it really difficult. I think it will not help us that much. I think it can help us a lot, but I think if we only are searching for the brands inside ourselves, if we only hope on we can do this, I can do this as a person, we'll get disappointed in the end. Because we cannot aim for that perfection. We cannot reach our own salvation that way. And I think also, certainly in a moment like this, we have to face that yeah, we are dependent on other people. We cannot just do everything on our own. So I think there are three different ways to look at it. Places where I heard people were searching also for hope. But 3 weeks ago, I read a secular Dutch newspaper, NRC, and there was an interview, or not an interview, but an article from a lady, Marieke Gauke. Marieke Gauke is working for a Christian television organization here in the Netherlands, but she herself is not a Christian, and she is facing yeah, the things that are happening at this moment. And I want to share also a quote of her. She said, "All the certainties in my life are now crumbling and shaking, like they've never done before. I wish I could believe the way my colleagues do." She was seeing her colleagues, and the colleagues were Christian. And she was seeing that what's going on, that she was searching for hope, something to hold on, a branch in the river. And she was looking around in this world, and she was maybe seeing the government, maybe seeing technology, maybe seeing herself. But she said, at this moment, I just don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to cope with this. But she was seeing also the trust her colleagues had in a God she didn't know. She was struggling with that. How is that possible? How is it possible that people can still have hope on a moment like this, when we're most vulnerable? And she was also looking for an anchor, something out of herself that she could just focus on, where she could find hope. And here we come, I think, to my last point also for my talk. How is it possible that people, when everything is collapsing, when everything is yeah, just going around and we don't know when it's going to end, we don't know what's going on, how do we deal with this? How do we look for a branch? And the colleagues of Marieke were Christian. They are believing that there is a God who cares about them. And they're also believing in a person, Jesus. Probably you've heard about him. I don't know how much you know about him. That is a place where Christians find hope. That's a place where Christians find an anchor. And I want to read with you just one quote of Jesus from one of his ancient biographies. He said once, "I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." He's saying that this Jesus is saying, I can give peace, I can give rest. Even if the world is just troubling, all the things can happen in this world. In that time there was also persecution and things were going around. And he is saying to his followers, I can give you peace, I can give you rest. So also in a moment of Corona, people can find peace and rest. But take heart, have courage. Maybe you have seen the posters, a hard pin, hanging on the windows here in Maastricht. It's the same words, keep courage, take heart. It's just focus. We need to have courage. But Jesus saying just have courage in general and it will be fine. Now he's saying, I can give you something the world cannot give, something the government cannot give, something technology cannot give, something you cannot find in yourself. He's saying, I am the branch you can hold on. I am the branch in the river that can give you rest, the place where you can find peace, because I have overcome the world. And what does that mean, overcoming the world? If you read the biographies of Jesus, you'll see that Jesus came to this world 2,000 years ago. And if you read his words and the things he was doing, you can see that he was God on earth. That's what Christians believe. Jesus was God on earth. Jesus is God himself. And God came to this earth because he did know that we are looking for hope. We're looking for an anchor. We're looking for a branch. We're looking for certainties. And this Jesus came to this world to let us know who God is. And this Jesus did a lot of things in his life. And at the end of his life, he was tortured and crucified. And that's the thing we remember on Good Friday. That's tomorrow. There was a moment that Jesus was dead. And Christians believe that Jesus died for all the things that are wrong in this world, all the pain in this world. And this Jesus also did know what was happening, how he did know fear, he did know pain, he did know all those things that we also can experience at this moment. But this Jesus didn't stay dead. 3 days later, he rose again. And that's what we remember on Easter morning. That will be coming Sunday. It's a moment that we remember that Jesus rose again from the dead. And this is not something we just think, okay, this is just one mythological story. Now, if you read ancient biographies of Jesus, you can read about eyewitness accounts of this event. People who have seen this Jesus walking around, met him, and that's the place where Christians find hope. Jesus came to this earth to put away everything that's wrong in this world, to conquer evil and also the death. He put that away by raising again from the death. That's what Christians believe in. And Marike Gauke, I mentioned her earlier, said the following also about this. She said, "For the first time, I wish that my faith would be the same as my Christian colleagues, trusting in a carrying hand when everything around you seems to collapse, knowing that there is a God protecting you, having faith that when the coronavirus overcomes my immune system, another life awaits. In these times of crisis, I experience not being raised with God as a missing part of my life." She is seeing the carrying hand of God in the life of her colleagues when everything is collapsing, and God was protecting them. And also a faith that this life is not all there is more to come. That's the place where Christians find hope. And Marike is at this moment jealous about what she's seeing. She's also investigating what's going on around. What does this mean? And I don't know what your take on this is. But my experience is that on moments that we don't find hope in this world, on this earth, God is a place where I can find hope. God is a place where you always can find hope, even in the most darkest places in your life and in this world. And maybe you get the feeling like, yeah, what can this God offer me? How can this God give me comfort or hope, or how can that help me further? I really want to challenge you to think about this. Just imagine we're just floating in a river, and there's just one branch hanging there. And maybe you see the branch and thinking, this branch will not hold me. This branch can never give me the hope I'm searching for. I think two things you can do. You can just let it go, the branch, or maybe you can just try it out. Look if it's working or not. And the strength of the branch will not be based on your hope, your trust in the branch, but it will be based on the strength of the branch itself. And that's what I experience in my life. That I can find strength. I can find hope in this Jesus. I cannot find that in the government or in technology or myself or somewhere else in the world. Jesus can give me something that's even more, that helps me in facing uncertainties. To always know there is a God who is there. And this doesn't mean that I'm immune for corona or for problems in my life. It means that there is a God who is there in my struggles, in my fear, in everything I'm going through. I can know there's a God. who loves me and who's there. And I want to challenge you, if you never thought about it, or if you're thinking about life, explore. Do like Marike and maybe talk with Christians about what do you experience, where do you see hope, how do you find hope in a world like this. I also want to challenge you, investigate. Search for yourself also what it's all about. In a few minutes we go out in breakout groups, so you can just chit chat with some other people. I also want to give you this. This is an ancient biography of Jesus. If you never read one, you can have it for free. We'll just deliver it safely in your mailbox. So please fill in also a feedback form that will be posted in the chat box. It will be great that you can leave your address. If you want one, then we just deliver it at your place. So you can just explore.